Welcome to Dr. Fred Markets. This is not financial advice. While most people ignore what's happening in the markets, a few choose to pay attention. And that difference, that simple choice to stay informed, changes everything. You're one of them. Let's get into it.
Retirement is not freedom. It's wage slavery with better branding. The Fed just told you the truth by accident. Former Governor Kevin Warsh says they have no tolerance for high inflation, but gives zero path for cutting rates. Translation: your safe 4 to 5% bond yield is a boomer mirage sitting on a debt bomb. At the same time, the S&P scrapes another high while Nvidia bleeds and IBM just nuked 25% of its value on an earnings warning. This is classic late cycle. Indexes up, leadership rotting from the inside, everyone pretending it's fine because their brokerage app is still green. And while CNBC drools over the next World Cup line, private credit funds quietly doubled assets in 4 years, lending to the same overlevered companies your 401k owns, but at double-digit yields and board-level control. That's not a side market. That's your retirement getting eaten from the inside out. Here's the connection no one wants to say out loud. The FIRE dream, retire early, live off a 4% withdrawal, died the moment inflation went sticky and private credit became the real boss of corporate America. The game now is not retire at 40. The game is own the cash flow your boss is terrified of. Forget the fantasy of sitting on a beach while your index fund spits safe income. The math stopped working. The old 4% rule assumed 2% inflation, lower equity valuations, and bonds that protected you in a crash. Today you have 3 to 4% inflation, expensive stocks, and bonds that tank when the Fed panics. You're not financially independent. You're just leveraged to a macro regime that doesn't care about your feelings. Meanwhile, the real action is in the shadows. Direct lending, private credit, weird royalty streams, and income products your bank advisor never mentions because they don't get a fat kickback. That's where CFOs go when banks say no. That's where the double-digit coupons hide. That's who gets paid before you do when things break. You want one mechanism that runs this entire scam? Capital stack hierarchy. Equity smiles on the magazine cover. Debt gets paid first. Private credit writes the rules. Your index fund owns the movie poster. The lender owns the script, the sequel, and the merch. War, blockades, supply shocks, whatever the headline of the week is, they all feed the same machine. Companies need liquidity fast. Public markets are slow and emotional, so private lenders step in. They demand floating rates, strong covenants, and senior claims. They get paid more when inflation misbehaves. You get a press release and a 2% dividend. So here's the brutal verdict. Retire early is now a marketing slogan. Cash flow sovereignty is the actual target. That means building income streams that adjust, flex, and survive when the Fed miscalculates and CEOs get desperate. No, that does not mean YOLOing into some trash private credit ETF or shady yield farm. It means you learn how income is really built in 2026. 1. You track how your current retirement plan earns money. Salary, dividends, bond interest? Great. Now ask, who gets paid before me? If you can't answer in under 30 seconds, you're not independent. You're downstream. 2. You start redirecting a small slice of your savings, 5 to 10%, into learning, and then taking exposure to real cash flow engines, business lending platforms, revenue-based financing, private RE notes, or even buying tiny slices of boring real businesses. Nothing sexy. Just people paying you because they have no cheaper option. 3. You stop chasing freedom from work and chase freedom from fragility. Work sucks when you need the paycheck. Work is optional when your income doesn't die every time Powell opens his mouth. Nobody on TV will say this because their advertisers sell products built on the old dream.
Does what you just heard shift something for you? That feeling, that need to know more, is exactly the right reaction. Most people never get there. You just did. Let's keep going.
Just keep buying the index and you'll retire. Maybe. But the people writing the loans your companies depend on are not playing that game. They are building guaranteed claims on your future passive income. So here's what this means for you. First, accept the funeral. The old retirement script is dead. Stop waiting for a magical number in your brokerage account. Second, focus on learning capital structure and cash flow, not stock tickers. You don't need to be a quant, you just need to understand who gets paid first. Third, build toward one specific goal. My non-salary income covers my rent or mortgage. Not all expenses, just housing. That's the first real level of freedom. Once you hit that, your relationship to risk, jobs, and markets changes permanently. This is not financial advice, but it is the truth. Fire influencers sold you a hammock. The real rich built a printing press. Stop dreaming about quitting. Start building the streams that make quitting irrelevant. And let's be clear on streams. A stream is not a lottery ticket. It's a system with 3 parts. Number 1, cash in. You know who's paying you, how often, and why they keep paying. Renters, buyers, clients, platforms, whatever. Number 2, cash out. You know your fixed costs, your variable costs, and your worst-case costs if everything goes sideways. Number 3, control. You know what levers you can actually pull when something breaks. Price, terms, volume, financing, or pivoting to a different customer. If you can't write those 3 things on a single sheet of paper, you don't have a stream, you have a hope. So the actionable move this week is simple. Pick one potential stream and run it through that 3-part test. If it passes, go one step deeper. If it fails, don't tweak it, replace it. The opportunity cost of polishing bad economics is enormous. Next, pressure test your timeline. You've been taught to think in 30-year arcs. If I just keep contributing to this index fund, one day the compound interest fairy arrives and kisses my forehead. But systems that actually feed you are usually built on 3, 6, and 12-month cycles. Can I get this to $100 a month in 3 months? $500 in 6 months? Could it plausibly cover my housing in 12 to 36 months with repetition and reinvestment? Notice what I didn't say. I didn't say, is this scalable to 7 figures? I said, can this reliably pay for a roof? Because once your roof is funded by non-salary money, your W-2 becomes optional leverage, not a leash. You can negotiate harder. You can walk away from toxic. You can accept opportunities that pay less cash now, but build more capital later. Equity, skills, sales, relationships, optionality. One more uncomfortable point. If all your plans require a bull market, you don't have a plan. You have a weather dependency. Real capital builders design for bad weather first. They ask, what happens to this cash flow if interest rates go up, demand goes down, or my platform bans me? Who gets paid before me, and how do I survive that? You won't answer this perfectly. You don't need to. But even attempting the question moves you out of the retail investor fantasy and into the operator mindset. So when you're done watching this, don't open your brokerage app. Open a notebook. At the top of the page, write, how will I get my housing paid by something other than my job? Then list 3 candidates, 1 skill-based, 1 asset-based, 1 business-based. You're not marrying them, you're speed dating ideas. From there, commit to this, 12 months of treating one of those as seriously as you've treated scrolling for the next hot stock. Not to get rich, to bury the old script and write a new one where your life is not priced by HR. This is not financial advice. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and check the links in the first comment below.
That's a wrap for today on Dr. Fred Markets. I hope this gave you something to think about, a new angle, a clearer picture, a better question to ask. Remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, always. If this video added value to your day, subscribe. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it's the best way to support this work and keep it free for everyone. You'll also find every video as a full article on the blog, drfredmarkets.com, and the newsletter is in the bio. I'm Dr. Fred Markets. See you in the next one.